it's not necessarily creating new stuff, it's putting it together in new ways, and the faculty are reaching across disciplines to say, oh, what we do can apply to how you do that, and so let's bring that together. That's the community that makes this place special. The buildings that don't separate us.
Welcome everyone to Coffee with the President. We're here at Stephen F. Austin State University. It is my honor to be here with Dr. Weaver, president of this fine institution. We were just chatting before we hit record, and thanks for doing this.
I'm glad you're doing it. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, somewhat new into the role, getting the processes going, and you're excited about, I'd love you to just talk big picture because we're having a blast filming this episode. Yeah. It's going to be awesome when you watch it. But how's everything going? What do you love about this institution?
Yeah, this place has an unbelievable sense of community and purpose. And the whole culture of the institution is really around everybody can be successful here, and we're all here to help and support one another. And that extends beyond our faculty and staff and students. It extends to the community that we're in here in Nacogdoches, and it extends out to our alumni who have an unbelievable appreciation and love for this institution beyond anything I've ever seen or felt before. And so what starts here is really that real sense of community around Stephen F. Austin and who we are and what makes us special, and the grit, toughness, just what makes a lumberjack a good lumberjack. And it's kind of in our DNA.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really amazing.
And I'd love to dive into that because one of the things we talk about this in the episode. I literally in my stand-up, I'm holding one of the axes, but the traditions here, I think that's something we're going to hit upon, but I'd love you just to walk through. I mean, I've learned about the watermelon bash. It just seems like the traditions that have been here are still going strong. And that, obviously that plays a part with the community, right? Just bringing everyone together.
It does. And that's what makes being a lumberjack special, is that if you went here in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, or now, you still have some of those same things that you did then that you see our students doing now. And you might have come from the same type of background, from the same small Texas community, and now you can say, if you do these things and you build up these personal traits and characteristics, you can be successful. You can do these things. And so those traditions that we pass down from one set of students to the next kind of just signify we're investing this in you, and this is what it does for you, and this is how it makes you a better person, makes you better prepared for the future that we know you're going to have. And so that's why those alumni are so connected to this place, because it's unique, it's special, and they carry it with them forever.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was talking to a reporter earlier, and while we're here on campus, and she was like, I went to school here, my parents went to school here, and we're keeping the tradition strong. It's really cool to see. Another theme of the episode, I would say, is the hands-on experience, and that teaching method. One of the lines I say is, the teachers, they're not just like professors, they're like mentors. They're really part of this process. I love your perspective of what you've seen and experienced, and talk about that part of the culture here.
Well, that, again, it goes back to that really strong community feel. We all take responsibility for one another, and a faculty member takes responsibility for making sure these students have the skills, and not just in their discipline, but the life skills necessary then to apply the knowledge of the discipline to a particular profession or job, or even in their community as a member of the school board, or involved church group, or whatever it might be. And so this sense of building community and making sure that people are prepared for a broader role in community, and whatever that community might be, is a part of what our faculty and staff are fully engaged in. And the exciting thing I see is that our step forward is to bring together discipline. We don't have to create new academic programs. We have to put them together in new and exciting ways. So we're fully invested in developing our entrepreneurship program. But when you think of entrepreneurship, agriculture we've been teaching agriculture for hundreds of years in colleges across the country, but we're taking agriculture and mixing it with technology and finance, which are three very different disciplines, but bringing them together to create an entrepreneurial mindset around something that is old, agriculture, and seeing it in a new and exciting way, and that opens the possibilities. And so it's not necessarily creating new stuff, it's putting it together in new ways, and the faculty are reaching across disciplines to say, oh, what we do can apply to how you do that. And so let's bring that together. That's the community that makes this place special. The buildings that don't separate us. Right? They bring us together.
You know, I've done a lot of these and no one's ever explained it the way you did. And I mean, it's just, maybe it's not even being done. I mean, how cool is that? And it makes a lot of sense, especially in this world, like entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Technology is changing everything.
It's moving at the speed of light. But you're taking, it's
so artificial intelligence, right? There are amazing things going on with discovering artificial intelligence, and that's great. I don't care. I want to know how do I apply it.
Exactly.
And here at Stephen F. Austin, we talk about how do you apply this new technology, this new developed thing? How do you create a use case for it? And do a use case in fine arts, do a use case in engineering. Show me how you take this and apply it here. And that takes faculty coming from all disciplines together. You can't expect all of them to be experts.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they have to find ways to bring it together.
Yeah, so exciting.
And that's the exciting thing about the entrepreneurship model is that it does force people that are in hospitality to say, oh, well, if I want to run a business, I need to know how to finance it. And I need to know what equipment I'm going to need. And I need, what's the software that's going to, it's all interconnected in today's
100%.
world. And so that's what we're trying to put together. And that's why what can happen here is really pretty spectacular.
Oh, that's awesome. When you look at the roadmap ahead, is this one of your main pushes, or are there other things you want to talk about? Is it mainly, I love how you're bringing all these interdisciplinary pieces together. I mean, the profound effect that's going to have on the community, the state, the country, and most importantly, one of the main things, like, can we help you get a job, like a good job afterwards? I think how you're, like thinking of like a company would think, or as the use case is going to be needed in the field is, what these students need.
I don't want to say this in a negative way, but I don't really care what it does for the country. I care about what it does for our students. And the opportunity and the option that it unlocks for them in their future. You may not want to be an entrepreneur, but everybody that hires you wants you to come to work with an entrepreneurial attitude. How do I do my job better? How do I do it different? How do I modernize it? How do I, make myself and this company better and different? So every student needs to come to it with eyes wide open. I've learned how to incorporate these things.
I always call them entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, come in, this is the world you need, right? But, take this, run with it. How do you make it better?
Inside of a company that needs to be renovated, needs to be modernized. Absolutely. What's going to happen here physically at this institution is remarkable. I think we're on pace to spend probably $500 million in campus facilities over the next 5 years. We're going to have new academic facilities. We're going to have new laboratories. We're going to have new social spaces. We're going to have new athletic facilities. This campus is going to get a physical makeover and an academic structural makeover. We're going to bring a new energy to what's happening here. And I think students that want to be a part of something really energizing and exciting are going to want to be here. Our number one goal is to turn people loose. And we have a lot of areas that we can do better at. And many leaders, and you've talked to many of them, there are some that like to be in control of everything. Nothing happens unless I'm aware of it. And what we're trying to do is break that down and just say, go do it. We need to attack 100 different things all at once. And I don't have the capacity to do 100 things, but the institution does. And let's go get them. And if it feels a little like chaos,
I love the energy.
Then
I love
it.
Yeah.
Because if we attack 100 things all at the same time, we're going to get a lot better, a lot faster. Instead of taking 10 years to do something, let's do it in 3.
Love it.
And that's what this institution's going to do. and the students will feel that, and they'll be a part of that. And so I'm really excited about what's going to happen.
Well, listen, the institution, community, everyone's lucky to have you. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time, everyone.